are you all? Thank you guys for being here. By the way, the sunset in the back is a beautiful sunset in Oklahoma. I usually will use sunsets of the area I'm talking about, or maybe, other pretty pictures of the area. So yeah, Teresa, I have to keep the avatar for now because I just have to. This is my thought so many times with many things on the platform and with this case. So it's got to stay, especially with the Lori Daybell text coming out with this freak, and all the things. But hello, you guys. Thank you for being here. By the way, hey, Teresa. Hey, Charlotte. Hey, B Crumbs. Hey, Punksy. Spicy Sugar. Hey, Ava. Hey, Lily. Good morning, Cheryl. Let's see. Hey, Laced in Chains, Angela, Pointer Lover, Yvette. Hey, I said hi to you, Charlotte, and Apple Bottom Jeans, Penny for your thoughts, Miss Tia. Hey, Corey. Let's see if I missed anybody. Susiana, thank you for being here, you guys. Sherry, hey, Adrian. So you guys, if you missed the live last night, I had several guests on. We had the Decipher Girls, Jen Lou, and Kate Does Crime. Melissa was going to be there, but she accidentally fell asleep. But anyways, it was a fun live. And I want to make sure that you guys know in the chat, I love to hear your opinions, no matter what they are, from all sides, whether they agree or whether you agree with me or you don't. So I just want that to be known, that's okay. We are all allowed to have our own opinions, and I want to make that very clear. I really love that you guys all have different opinions. Sometimes you sway me, convince me of things. Sometimes you don't, all those kinds of things. So, yeah. Totally missed the live. I was exhausted, crashed early. I learned some things. I learned a few interesting things, like number one of the biggest takeaways from the whole night for me was about that list, the ledger that had the people, the names and the numbers or ages or birthdays or things that we have heard. And to know that it matches the handwriting of Jesse and his letter in jail back in 2004, which we also looked at, that was a huge takeaway for me. There are some other things too. Hey, Nikki. But anyway, so today there are a couple new videos I want to show you, or one video from News Nation I want us to look at. But then we're going to go over to TikTok and we're going to watch Crystal, who has done many interviews. I think she's even been on panels over here and some things like that. She is one of his living victims, and she is using her social media to speak out about not only what she's been through, but about the case and stuff like that. So I want us to just hang out, kick back, and watch that. So let me think. I knew there was something else I wanted to tell you guys. Let me see. Oh, Crime Sleuthin', good to see you. Hello, Alex, and I got you on my big screen. What an awful case and local to me. Lots of fam in Henryetta, and my parents and sis are buried there. Cops there suck. Oh, wow. I'm so happy to see you. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming. After me and Jen stayed backstage for like an hour discussing the case and then all kinds of things. And TT ended up coming up and chatting with us, and talking till I about fell asleep. Hey, Nikki, this sicko should have never been let out of prison. Another thing from last night I learned, and this was in one of the videos that we showed. If he had not been let out early, he would still be in prison right now. That is unbelievable to me. It is a very sad case. Okay, so let me go ahead. I'm going to pull up this newer News Nation video that released last night after our live, after the live. But then we're going to get looking at the other things we were going to look at today. Tonight, Bentley has a play, but after that, we have over on Jen Lou's. We're going I'm hoping that at some point we'll listen to the closing arguments. The Lori Vallow case is wrapping up, and it's going to be really interesting to watch the verdict, which they're going to let us straight. Now, just remember, before we watch this video from News Nation, there are a few things that I could point out right now that have been inaccurately reported. But the reason that we are going back to this is because shows more of the video that we didn't necessarily see like this. I just want to pull this up, especially for the first part. Hey, Trulia, good to see you. Love to you, Crumb Sleuthin. We're ready for you. I miss you and ready for you to come back. Certain people cannot be reformed. That is absolutely true. Okay, so let me play. Hey, Angie, good morning. Let's start with this and then.
A gun and gunned down 6 people, including 5 kids, his wife, and then himself. And this was where presumably he was living. And not just part-time, because it looks like there's evidence of them living there a long time.
Good morning,
This
Amy.
is the living room. So I do want to show you that there are some brand new angles and things that we've highlighted that we didn't see before. A lot of computer equipment that was not seized, wasn't taken, hard drives, etc., all around here. You can see evidence that would have plenty of DNA on it, maybe hair fibers, follicles, anything that could identify other victims, maybe other perpetrators, still sitting there for the families to videotape.
Hey, Meatfoot.
Families.
Okay.
This is what's so frustrating, is that it's the families doing this. It's not the police. The police should have cataloged every single inch of that horror home, but it's the families doing it. Don't know if the police eventually went in, but it was after the families. So the up-close pictures show a lot of restraints. You've seen some of them before, but you haven't seen all of them. And
there's the bathroom. It's
regard to the restraints.
There
are restraints not just in the floor.
Really hard for me to see this versus how it looked on my
There's
phone.
also restraints on.
Now look at here. There are literally on the kitchen counter, because this is a big thing. Was some of this stuff hidden, and some of it was more hidden, but not everything was hidden. You know. Crime Sleuth, and do y'all think Holly was involved? Looks like it to me. I knew a woman pedophile who keeps getting away with it. For real, sickening. You know what? I'm not sure. I've tried to be really careful about that, just because of like the responsibility of having my channel, and I don't want to put out false information. I don't think we have enough, but I'm definitely skeptical, and I know a lot of people are. A lot of people are wondering if she was, and a lot of people are very defensive over it and want people to. So I think that Wolfie and I were talking about it this morning. It is like so split. Hey, Teresa. Oh, Teresa, I've got to go rewatch your live. Last night when I saw your live, we pushed ours back like an hour because I didn't want to go over it. But wasn't able to come in there. You guys, by the way, I have my niece now, and I'm probably going to have her for a couple months. So her mom is really sick and hospitalized and stuff. And so she's going to be living with me for a bit. So it's a little bit of an adjustment for us here. She's 7. So it's been a little busy and, those kind of things. But how could he have hidden all those restraints from her? Here's the thing, Crime Sleuthin'. We know this. There was a receipt in the house that showed that some of these locks and hooks had been purchased on Saturday. Now, on Friday, some of the girls had sent their family messages, and Kate told us this last night. This was something else I learned from these ladies, that he was, there was messages sent out to their parents. The phones had been dropped in a mud puddle and may not have good signal, type of thing. I'm curious how many days, what was happening there, in the days leading up to Sunday. Let's see. Hey, Jane Doe. Hey, Pepper. Good to see you guys. Hey, Cushy Cush. Appreciate you guys doing. Oh, that's okay, Teresa. And also, I loved your Facebook post. I'll just leave it at that. It was really beautiful. I didn't see that till today, but I loved that. Mrs. O's Mod, conspiracy talk. That photographer cop was probably trying to redirect the dad because he is somehow involved in whatever this ends up being. Mrs. O's mod, you know what? There's a lot of people that are wondering that. And, it's not, I'm not saying that in this case. I'm just saying in general, generally speaking, in a lot of these small corrupt towns, and with a lot of rings, we've talked about this in Summer's case. Sometimes there has to be people higher up to help people get away with it. Oftentimes there are people involved in positions in the community that are more, you guys know what I mean. I don't think higher up is the appropriate term, but my brain isn't working. Hey, Vicky G. So, yeah. Hey, Cushy Cush. Good to see you. People said the same thing about Carla Homolka. Then the video came out of her torturing her sister. See, but it could be either way, right? Because I think about this. She surely wasn't all right with being shot in the head 3 times, I would think, and all of her kids. So I don't know I just think until we know certainly from police, it doesn't look good. But also another thing that makes me wonder if she knew the extent of this or knew what he was up to, because we know that there were lots of other teenagers in and out of the home who weren't there that weekend. So I don't know. People of authority. There you go, Lolo. Thank you. I just brewed a cup of coffee with no coffee grounds. Hey, Elsie. Yes, people in positions of power or authority. The town I live in is very corrupt. The uppers. I'm sorry.
The walls. There's a restraint on the kitchen counter. What are you doing? What are you doing restraining someone to the kitchen counter? Locks, padlocks, chains. And then we also have evidence from the families.
Thank you, Teresa. Yes, at this point, she's a homicide victim. And, until we know more from police, just on my channel, just me, I'm going to keep it that way. But you guys are free to give your opinions in the chat and stuff like that. Seriously, I love to hear on both sides of that argument, and that's absolutely okay. I just think I've learned from being on YouTube, I've seen many people look so guilty. Even like I told you guys, we got Heidi Broussard, or with this Idaho case, I've just learned sometimes it's better to wait and see and not jump to conclusions, especially if you're broadcasting out to, for whoever to see. You need to be responsible about it. Hey, Amber Love Reigns, and hey, Amber, other Amber. This is why I meet and run a bin verified on the parents and address before my 11-year-old is even allowed to use the bathroom there. That's smart. That is smart. Hey, Lynn. Creme de la creme. Ooh, I love your name. To coffee. That was a meat foot. Okay, let's keep listening.
And that they moved a dresser and they found restraints in behind a dresser, taped to the back of a dresser that the police were not interested in. They actually said to the family member, no, it's fine. Unless you want it, you can throw it out. Unless you want it. What's the family member going to do with a bunch of sex restraints in a sex torture dungeon? And why on earth would you not think that there's DNA, skin cells, something on Velcro restraints that were discovered behind a dresser? Again, family members finding all of this. Now let's go into the hallway, because in the hallway, I'm going to pause as we get down the hallway. I want you to take a close look at the door, because if you look at the hallway door to that closet at the end that has a chair in it, you'll actually notice that there is a deadbolt lock on the outside. Outside, meaning you can lock someone inside that room. Maybe that's why there was a chair in there, but a deadbolt lock on the outside.
This shocked me, you guys. I got to be honest. A lock on the outside of the door and a chair in there. It's scary and it doesn't look good. It doesn't. But I don't know. 50 Shades of Sinister going on there. Hey, you guys, my dad bringing the dog out to me. Sorry about that. Okay. This doesn't seem real life. Like, how could law enforcement be so bad? Many years ago, we had a situation here in my city where a guy had been using leashes and locks to keep a woman hostage in his home. Oh my God, for 8 months. She does need to be more cautious, B. Crumb. She needs to be a little more responsible with it sometimes. Hey, Tish, good morning. Well, I mean, she clearly said it was Holly's writing. The funny thing is this. Right before she said that, she asked the aunt, and the aunt didn't say that. And now we're hearing that, that it wasn't. So I don't know. Ebel, why are so many trying to pretend nothing happened for a long time in that home? I don't think I'm not trying to do that. I just want to be certain of the facts. So we just don't know yet. I don't want to, that's just that. Okay. There's no way that those kids or even their friends didn't see some of this stuff. I mean, right out on the kitchen counter, the things are, we just don't know enough. Okay, let me keep playing.
Keeping someone
This really
in,
bothered me, though, the lock outside on the door.
Now I have video that we had not seen before of the girls' bedroom. That was something that made us very uncomfortable, because now knowing what the other rooms look like, this looked as though it was a regular teenage bedroom. It's just confounding to know that feet away are sex toys and weapons and drugs and syringes. And
okay, the phones. Let me say something else. This was another point of confusion and misinformation. So and I know it had to do with the attorney's Twitter. Anyways, the tweets were getting misread, I think, and there were 32 phones who had used that address as their location. Now, they did find several phones. We saw, several in the kitchen. We also saw the one in the nightstand. But some of those 32 phones were not necessarily physical phones that they found, but people who had used that address as their location. Hey, Cook Street. Okay, Tisha, this is another thing. LFT said that he was on the Oklahoma registry, that she found him on there. I personally think he knew he was going back to prison, so he planned this weekend for his sick fantasies. He tried to get as many young girls there as possible for this. I agree with you. I do agree. If I'm the parents of the child that was killed, I use the police involved in this case. Yeah, Amber. Hey, Roxanne, it gets a little too much. Yes, that's how I feel, Woofy. Yes, but I don't know the results of that. I just know that they've said that the gunshot wound to the head, and then there were the rumors of the SA. 13 cases out of Tennessee that mirrors the OBI behavior and poor gathering of evidence. TBI is just as bad, in my opinion. The state investigative are not helpful. I called GBI one time about a missing child. Hey, Mind of Monsters, by the way. And the GBI told me they don't handle missing kids. Hey, CJ. There has been a lot of missing kids in the area as well. He was on the state registry, just not the county registry, allegedly. I learned not to jump to conclusions after the Idaho 4 Jacks. I know, Tony, me too. And I should have learned before that. And I have regrets about things like, none of us are perfect, and we all learn and grow as we go. But even when it comes to Summer's case, because we really don't know anything there either, we can be skeptical and, it's just we don't know enough facts. Hello, Melissa Jade. Good to hear he was on the registry. That one ex-inmate was stating he wasn't. I know. I think I also found a new interview with him. But let me go ahead, and we're going to switch over to Crystal's TikTok, okay? So this is the first video I found. Oh, shoot. I just switched our page. Hold up. That was the first video I think she's done on it, which she's done several. So we've got this row, and this row. She is being censored on TikTok. Same thing happened to me. They will take down your videos. They're a little strict sometimes over there. And it gets ridiculous. I think for mine, if I have one video, one more that has shows anything graphic, I'll lose my entire TikTok with 30,000 people. And not only that, the last one that I got in trouble for was showing Kylie Rodney's, the overlay of her vehicle going in the water that you couldn't even clearly see. You couldn't even see. It could be laziness, ineptness, or complicity when investigators don't do their jobs. Yep, absolutely. Well, I do choose the good places to catch up on cases. Oh, cushy cush. Hey, Batty. Good to see you. Conflicting information about the registry. I think as parents, we have to be very careful where we let our kids stay. I agree. I'll have kids at my house before I want my kids to go somewhere. But okay, let's start here, you guys.
Jesse McFadden, you are a POS. I won't say the cuss word because my video got deleted earlier because I'm not allowed to say nasty things about my rapist that tried to take my life when I was 16 years old. What'd you do today? You took the lives of 6 innocent people, including your sorry ass self. I begged the DA when I was 16 all the way until a few years ago not to let him out. If you guys let him out, I said it's going to be the worst decision you ever make. He was let out. Found out from a few friends that I went to high school with it. He also assaulted these girls on the bus. There was other things that went down that were never done. Let's make this video viral. Let's make sure that nothing like this happens anymore. The justice system has failed us. Fucking Oklahoma and your bullshit. This should have never happened. Prayers to these families and these. Jesse McFadden.
Okay.
So I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking about how Mr. McFadden went as far as paying and hiring fake actresses to pretend to be me, to go out of their way to tell this woman that he married that I lied about the whole case, that it was just a misunderstanding, that I was in fact 19 years old when it happened and not 16. I can tell you right now that that is a bald-faced lie. We've got to do something. We've got to fix this and advocate for these children. These babies lost their lives. These 6 people lost their innocent lives because of this piece of shit. What is it going to take? How many more people have got to die before the justice system understands that we can't just keep letting people out like this? This isn't okay.
Okay, we're gonna play through them and just hang out and watch them because I want us to hear what she has to say. I definitely think her voice is important in this, right? And yeah.
Oh, I want to clear up some stuff with the whole McFadden case in Oklahoma and Henryetta. I am in fact the victim, the first victim, Crystal Strong. So everybody's, I guess, a little confused about who Holly is and if that was the same Holly. Matter of fact, that's what I thought at first, but it is not. It must have just been a coincidence. The Holly that I knew was from my childhood, from a long time ago. I don't think has had any contact with him. He ended up meeting this Holly, I guess. He was in prison with someone, a Mr. Fleming, and I think he ended up stealing his contact book and got Holly that way and then manipulated her or whatever. And so, yeah, it's not the same Holly. Don't freak out about it. Yeah. So I want to clear up some stuff with the whole McFadden case in Oklahoma and Henryetta.
Sorry, I was like, I'd like to talk to you guys in chat while we're watching stuff. Let me go to the next one.
Stop by these stores or join us.
New tonight, we're following blockbuster developments in the murder-suicide case from Henryetta that shocked the state and the nation really this week. 7 people dead, including 5 children.
Today, News 4's Kaylee Olivas got a look inside the house where 4 of the bodies were found. She joins us now with more. Kaylee.
Well, before we even begin, we want to warn you, some of the video you're about to see is disturbing. This afternoon, News 4 was invited by Ivy Webster's family with the permission of the property owner to tour the home of Jesse McFadden. Inside was a true house of horror. Throughout the house, there were restraints, sex toys, drug paraphernalia, and evidence left behind by law enforcement. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation has been the lead on the case, but they had released the property and there wasn't an active investigation as of Tuesday afternoon. Just minutes after we entered the home with the family, victims' cell phones were found along with 2 laptops. All of the evidence we saw today has now been collected by investigators.
Okay, we've seen that, so it only has a second left, but let me read her thing to you, and we're going to keep going through her videos because she has a few I want us to look at. She says, Jesse McFadden, you took my adolescence from me, left me fearing for my life. Now you took these innocent babies too. This has to stop.
This is the room where the cell phones were found on the top shelf. Above that were 2 more laptops that were recovered by the sheriff's department. There was drug paraphernalia right here that was recovered by the sheriff's department. There is collars. There is lube. There is paraphernalia, handcuffs.
Absolutely disgusting. Now, that milk chocolate bar, if you see here, it's a THC bar. Then there's this thing, which Kate had said they did some research, Kate and the Deciphered girls, to figure out what it all was. But she said that this was a hiking thing, like how you can, that goes in the book bags, and that way you have the hose to put your water in or whatever to drink out of. Like there was several different kinds of lube. Disgusting. A bong. Ooh, I hadn't seen that one. How did I miss that? Because I know I've seen it.
Inside this bag are more hooks and locks.
More hooks and locks.
None of this has been gone through. Up here on the top are duffel bags. This is the
My God, you guys.
I'm angry. This should have never happened.
She says that they keep taking my video down, keep sharing. I was McFadden's first victim. Let's make sure this never happens again.
Others search for answers, leading him into a house of horrors.
We've seen this, but you know what? We'll play it at least a few minutes just to get a feel for what she's trying to share.
Nobody prepared for what was inside or the potential evidence missed by investigators.
That's them.
Hey,
that's them.
Okay.
That's
Is that hers?
Yep. Okay. Hold on.
Call the sheriff.
Yep.
Don't touch them. Don't move them.
Along with Adria Goins, I'm Kevin Ogle, and tonight we are following blockbuster developments in that ghastly murder-suicide that shocked the state and nation, leaving 7 people dead, including 5 children.
Brittany Brewer, Ivy Webster, Tiffany Guess, Michael Mayo, and Riley Allen, all between the ages of 13 and 17, along with Holly Guess, each shot to death.
Investigators have confirmed convicted sex offender Jesse McFadden killed those 6 victims, then himself. Earlier this week, law enforcement released the home where the murders occurred. They could find something that would explain what happened. Once the crime tape was removed from the home and the scene released by law enforcement, the family went inside.
They left yesterday devastated by what they found. News 4's Kaylee Olivas with us the entire time. She joins us with an exclusive.
Well, Adria, Kevin, we first want to warn you, the images you're about to see from inside the home are disturbing. It was hard to watch Ivy's family as they discovered what they believe is crucial evidence that was left behind by law enforcement. In a matter of minutes, they found their own daughter's cell phone tucked away in a cabinet, and that was just the beginning. Now they're wondering whether law enforcement... When Jesse McFadden murdered her, Okmulgee police say Ivy died from a gunshot wound to the head. Her family has 0 answers, couldn't say goodbye, and has no closure. So now they're looking for it.
I feel that my daughter, even right now, is standing behind me, telling me, Dad, keep going. Keep doing this.
Phone or phone case.
Thursday afternoon, News 4 was invited by Webster and his family to take a closer look at where his daughter took her last breath. Behind these walls, the family found sex and bondage devices. In one of the bedrooms were restraints bolted into the bed frame. There was also a shelf filled with books about witchcraft. 10 feet away in the kitchen, another restraint with chains and locks still attached. Although there were reportedly 4 bodies found in this home, we didn't see any bloodstains. No.
What? Why are they saying that? As far as I know, they were all found outside and quite a distance from the house. And we've heard that many places, even from the parents. I think the news just got that wrong. That's the thing, you know, when a case is first, like, breaking like this, a lot of things there's a lot of things that get reported wrong. You know, things are not always, yeah, it's frustrating. Hey, Crumb Curious. Oh, Roxanne, thank you. That was so sweet. Thank you, Roxanne. Okay, we're going to go to her next video now. Let's just keep going.
Wanted to hop on real quick and give a quick update about the McFadden House of Horrors, the massacre that happened in Henryetta. Yes, I am indeed the first victim, Crystal Strong. I did put him in prison 20 years ago. So they did turn it over to the OSBI. They did get divers out there to drain, maybe not drain, but go through the ponds and the house and collect all evidence. I don't know if they found anything. I have no updates on that. I have, however, had a girl reach out to me claiming that she was supposed to go to McFadden's house to meet up with him. I'm guessing for sex. I'm not really sure. So there's that. She had met up with him on another occasion. She has asked not to be named. I respect that, so I will not be doing that. So don't even ask. Yeah, it's getting a little creepy. I do know that Miss McFadden does have connections and friends all over Wichita and surrounding areas, which, you know, is kind of where I'm from. A little creepy, since she's done nothing but enable her son and try to get him out of everything he's ever done, putting up milk cookies on his books. Yeah, something I would never do. I don't care. Yeah, there's a thin line between loving your son and completely enabling them. What a creep. So yeah, I will keep you updated as I get more information. Yeah, stay blessed, people. Wanted to hop on real quick and give a quick update about the McFadden House of Horrors, the massacre that happened in Henryetta. Yes, I am indeed the first. If someone could, I don't know, tag the creator of TikTok or whoever in this video, it'd be greatly appreciated. They need to quit taking my videos down. I am just trying to help this family get some answers. Every video I post tends to get taken down. I don't know what the deal is. It's apparent that the news is able to post it, but I can't. Please, this family deserves justice. I was a target at one point 20 years ago. I almost lost my life that night. Now 6 people are dead because of this piece of scum of the earth. Please stop taking my videos down. If someone could, I don't know, tag.
Okay, before we go any further, and we're going to keep watching what she has to say. It's so annoying the way TikTok does that. They do, because they've done it to me multiple times, and it's just annoying. But I want to talk about 2 things before I let it get past me. One was, I think it was Danielle, I can't find the comment, made a comment about how it's interesting the number of times each victim was shot. They were all shot once, but Holly was shot 3 times. I find that interesting as well. I'm curious what you guys think about that. And then I have one more comment starred that we'll talk about in a second. 20 years ago, she got away, and now there's 7 more people that have died. Yep. Absolutely. It's crazy. Awful. Yeah. So the girl that he sent the picture of the text to was the one that was about to come testify against him. It was the young lady who accidentally ran into him by messaging the wrong number, and he responds from jail and basically manipulates her into this relationship. And so you're in jail for having photos of underage kids, and then while in jail, get caught getting more photos from underage kids, not to mention you getting caught in jail. If you guys missed the pre-recorded little video I did yesterday, it's under my live streams because it was a broadcast through StreamYard. But we went through an article that details his time in prison. He wasn't caught having sexual relations with inmates. He was also accused of assaulting them in jail. Not only that, he also in jail claimed that he didn't want to be put with black people because he was a member of the Klan. He's, oh yeah, a gun. Okay. They said it was staged. This is the next one I wanted to talk to you guys about. What did he mean by that? And I don't know. This is something I have wondered and wondered. You know, they were staged, but we don't. Apparently, you know, he must have positioned them or moved them or posed them after, but I don't know for sure. That's just kind of what I think. Michael was shot twice, so I heard anyway. I've not heard that anywhere. He said all his kids are shot. Okay, let me see. Anywhere I've heard was just, there's so much misinformation going around. Jesus, it's horrific. The victims, Chopper, when they were found, they were, you know, that's the way it was reported. And there were quotes around the stage comment. Hey, Salty C. Hey, Janessa. Okay, let's keep watching.
Whoever in this video. Sorry about my crying here. I just I did another interview with Kaylee Olivius in Oklahoma City. I've been really strong through this whole thing, but I think it's all starting to hit me a little bit. I'm starting to remember more of the essay from 20 years ago and things that, you know, happened to me. I'm having to relive all of this. It hasn't been very easy. She asked me if I could gain one thing out of this, what would it be? And it would be that the judicial system maybe check these people's minds before they release them back out on the streets. If they had done their job and told me where he was going to be like they were supposed to and gave him the full 20 years or the 25 years that they were originally supposed to give him, maybe I could have drove to Henryetta and warned these people about what kind of a person they had living there. But I was not told. When you put somebody away for 20 years, it's a little scary when they get released, wondering if they're going to come for you or your children. I have lived in fear every single day, wondering if was ever going to be the case. I've actually drove myself crazy with it. People thinking, oh, you're nuts. He actually sexually assaulted, his brother sexually assaulted this girl, Alyssa Tubby, which was my stepmom's other stepdaughter. My dad passed away. She remarried. Hits a little close to home. I just found out about that the other day too. I found out that I was impersonated. All of this just makes me feel some type of way. I've been handling it really well because I've been around my babies, but it's really hard to take all this in, and then the more information I learn, the sadder I get. Just knowing that people are being let out like this. Please hold your babies tight, because what the Websters are going through, and the Brewers, all of you, I'm so sorry, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure this never happens again. Peace be with all of you, and I will keep praying for all of you. Stay blessed. Sorry about my crying here. I just I did another interview with Kaylee Olivius in Oklahoma City. I've been really.
Oh my God! I was pulling up the press conference in another window, and we are gonna watch that in a second. But let's. Oh God! I want to finish her videos. I think they're important. I feel sorry for her. You know, there's nothing that she could have ever done to change this, and that it's awful.
So, some major news in the tragic murder of 6 people in Okmulgee County. Authorities say registered sex offender and convicted rapist Jesse McFadden shot and killed his wife, 3 stepchildren, and 2 of their kids' friends. The family of one of the victims is just outraged tonight that investigators appear to have left critical evidence at the crime scene. 2 News Oklahoma anchor Aaron Christie is live outside Henryetta right now with the very latest for us.
Okay, I'm going to play this one. I've played.
Believe that there was anything more that could be found. But
he said, "This is absolutely disturbing. TikTok, please don't silence me."
Shay Smith looked into Jesse McFadden's rape conviction and his time served. Today, she spoke with a woman McFadden was convicted of raping in 2003.
In 2003, Jesse McFadden was convicted and sentenced to 20 years in prison. Crystal Strong was just 16 years old at the time. She says after McFadden was charged with the crime while in prison, he shouldn't have been let out, especially after what he did to her.
I think it's sick, and I think it's terrible, and I think the justice system failed everybody completely.
In 2003, McFadden was convicted of raping Crystal Strong. McFadden pleaded no contest, took an Alford plea, and was sentenced to 20 years in prison.
I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. I couldn't keep a normal relationship. I was told I'd never have children. But obviously that's not the case. I ended up having 4 kids, but he traumatized me pretty bad.
In October of 2004, McFadden wrote a letter to the judge who sentenced him, asking for a sentence modification. In the letter, McFadden says in part, "There's no changing the past. The future is all that's left to me, so that I can change my ways and become a better person." The letter goes on to say, "I'd like to get out and prove that I have changed." A month later, though, the judge denied his motion for a sentence modification. In August of 2012, McFadden's attorney filed an application for post-conviction relief or motion to withdraw plea. Court records say McFadden was not told during the court and plea proceedings that a first-degree rape conviction was a mandatory 85% crime. McFadden was released on that rape conviction in 2020. However, he was still facing charges from 2017, soliciting a minor and possession of juvenile pornography.
Why would you even say, "Oh, okay, Jesse, it's okay. You can go ahead and, get out. Go be a free man." That shows you he's not changed.
Strong says she feels like the justice system failed her and
they failed everybody.
1 week ago today, an alert.
She said here, "I hate you, Jesse McFadden, for ruining my childhood, almost my life, taking my adolescence from me. You took these innocent babies' lives. May God have mercy on your soul." These are just clips from the news.
You've been hearing a whole lot about Jesse McFadden in the last week.
And this is about his brother. We've talked about that. Okay.
So I've had a lot of people reaching out to me lately about different things. I think the most mind-boggling thing I've learned in the last couple of days is maybe LaDonna McFadden worked for the Pittsburgh County Courthouse at the time of his sentencing and has so for many, many years. Tell me how your son is convicted of such an awful crime, rape in the first degree with force and fear, grand larceny, holds a knife to someone's throat, makes it to where they could possibly never have children, does some terrible things to this person. They get diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, lots and lots of things, and you're able to go work at the courthouse that he was sentenced at. I don't see how that can be a thing. I hope to God that that's not true. That is completely wild to me. I don't know how the whole law works, but that's crazy. If anybody wants to do some digging on that, please feel free to message me because I am blown away on that.
And I showed you guys last night what Jennifer Coffindaffer said about this.
Know that rumors can get started in cases like this, but
it still could be a rumor.
So also I was told to contact a lawyer to see if maybe there was anything I can do as far as my case, since nobody contacted me. I didn't want to do it, but I ended up having a lawyer reach out to me, and he basically told me, no, there's nothing you can do. Marcy's law went into effect in 2017 or 2018, something like that. So basically, no, there's nothing I can do, which is fine. But I am here to keep speaking up for these other potential victims and other people that their person just gets to walk free after he tortures them or their babies. This is going to stop. Stay blessed, everyone.
Okay. So that is her last one besides a recording. I don't know if there is. Let me see something, you guys. We're going to come over here. 2 days after police found the bodies. This is the one where they detail the injuries, I believe, because I listened to it, but we'll listen again because I definitely am human.
ATF
Can get things wrong. And not only that, let me tell you guys, I've just learned with these cases that you can watch a video and you might hear 90% of it, but there might be something that you don't hear. You might be too focused on what you heard before or whatever, you know, so it's always good to re-listen. I admire her speaking out because, you know, there's going to be trolls just verbally harassing her, but her message is very strong and important. I agree with you. She is one lucky, brave girl. Absolutely. Okay. Oh, thank you, Lynn.
Everybody ready? Good afternoon. My name is Joe Prentice, and the spelling is Joeprentice. I am police chief for the city of Okmulgee, and I also command the District 25 Violent Crime Task Force. With me is Carol Iskey, our district attorney, who sponsors the Violent Crime Task Force, and Sheriff Eddie Rice, who was one of the reporting agencies when this
Agree, Angela, she does.
I've got a brief statement that I'll read, and then I'll open it for questions and answer the questions that I can. As you know, Ivy Webster was reported missing to the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office, and Brittany Brewer was reported missing to the Henryetta Police Department on Monday morning. I received a request shortly after to activate the Violent Crime Task Force. The task force began the investigation, and as part of that, obtained a search warrant for the property on Holly Road. Because of the extremely large size of the property, we requested assistance from the OSBI. During the search, the bodies of 7 individuals were recovered. All were sent to the medical examiner for autopsies, and those examinations have been completed. Scientific identification has been obtained on all 7 of the individuals, and I have information regarding their injuries. That being said, it is important to remember that all of this information is extremely preliminary, and no official reports from the medical examiner's office have been issued. The injuries include Ivy Webster suffered 1 gunshot wound to the head. Brittany Brewer suffered 1 gunshot wound to the head. Riley Allen suffered 1 gunshot wound to the head. Tiffany Guess suffered 2 gunshot wounds to the head. The injuries include Ivy Webster suffered 1 gunshot wound to the head. Brittany Brewer suffered 1 gunshot wound to the head. Riley Allen suffered 1 gunshot wound to the head. Tiffany Guess suffered 2 gunshot wounds to the head. Michael Mayo suffered 2 gunshot wounds to the head. Holly McFadden suffered 3 gunshot wounds to the head.
I do not know how I missed that because I remember listening to this. I guess where he's the one for the first 4, and now my mind is even more boggled. Why? I was already curious why Holly was shot 3 times. That's very interesting. I'm going to just replay that one more time.
Suffered 1 gunshot wound to the head.
So Tiffany and Michael had 2, I think. Let me re-listen again. I should have wrote it down.
The injuries include Ivy Webster suffered 1 gunshot wound to the head.
Me too, Meg.
Brittany Brewer suffered 1 gunshot wound to the head. Riley Allen suffered 1 gunshot wound to the head.
I want to pause right there. I know that, you know, Tia says that Tiffany and Ivy and Riley were found together. And then Holly and her other kids were found together. Okay.
Tiffany Guess suffered 2 gunshot wounds to the head. Michael Mayo suffered 2 gunshot wounds to the head. Holly McFadden suffered 3 gunshot wounds to the head. And Jesse McFadden appears to have shot himself in the head. I'm assisting the Violent Crime Task Force with the search, the crime scene, and the investigation were the following agencies: the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office, the Henryetta Police Department, Henryetta Fire Department, OSBI, ATF, and the Muscogee Nation AG's office. That concludes my statement. I will answer any questions that I can.
Chief, when do you believe that these killings happened?
I think he's just trying to give the information about how they were found and their injuries.
I don't know. Based on the investigation, we believe that the girls were spotted in Henryetta on Saturday night.
Now,
Beyond
Kate
that,
was talking about this last night, so if you missed the live last night, you definitely want to go listen. But Adrian, that is true. Ivy and Michael were boyfriend and girlfriend. Thank you, Shelley. Yes, Ivy 1, Brittany 1, Riley 1, Tiffany and Michael 2, Holly 3. Okay.
I can't tell you.
Were the victims found in one spot?
The facts are important.
Whereabouts were they found?
Super important to get the information accurately. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. I really do.
Ivy, Brittany, and Riley were found separately, approximately 150 to 150 yards apart from each other, and approximately a quarter of a mile southeast of the McFadden residence.
Do we think they ran away?
I don't have any evidence to indicate that, but there's no way to know.
And the other 2 victims?
Well, there's more than just 2 more. The other 4 decedents were found together approximately 450, 500 yards east and a little bit south of where the 3 girls were found, and they were all together.
Was anyone able to call 911?
As far as I know, there was no 911 call made.
And do we believe that all these killings happened around the same time?
I don't have any evidence to indicate otherwise.
Chief, what led you guys to getting that search warrant? Because Emmy's office was there immediately with you guys when you guys were doing that. You guys got to the property that morning because he was the person you're looking for and stumbled across something and then back out like normal and ask for a search warrant?
Something very similar. That morning, deputies and task force members went out to the property in an effort to see if there was anyone there. While at the property, they got no response at the door, and they observed what they believed was a freshly disturbed area of dirt in the yard or the curtilage area around the residence. They came back and reported that, and we got a search warrant for the residence and the property.
Have you traced back this gun?
I'm sorry, one at a time.
Very similar questions. Have you traced back the gun, and how did McFadden get the gun, and what kind of firearm was it?
We did conduct an e-trace on the firearm. It was a 9mm handgun, and it was purchased in January of 2022 by Holly McFadden.
Okay, let's see. I just wish we knew why he took everyone with him. Why didn't he just do himself and call it a damn day? That is insane. He definitely had some serious mental issues going on. We will never know. Hey, sweet and sleuthy. Yes. So, yes, they were searching the pond. Actually, let me see, because I think I sent a few pictures over that I had grabbed of some of the equipment they had up there searching. Hold on. Wait, let me just resend it to myself, and then I'll show you guys. I'll keep playing this while I find it. 1 second.
When you were talking about disturbed dirt, are you talking about graves, for lack of a better way to put it?
That's what the concern was when it was observed. We have since discovered that the property owner, who is not the McFadden's were renting. The property owner had cleaned out a horse pen and had dumped that debris there.
So they didn't see a body and then back out?
No.
There weren't graves dug or anything?
No.
Do we believe he
Did McFadden leave a note?
I'm sorry?
Did McFadden leave a note?
No note was found.
Do we believe that he executed them?
I don't know that I would use the term executed. I believe that McFadden shot all of the other deceased.
So the victims had any defensive wounds or anything?
I didn't observe any. I haven't had any reported to me from the medical examiner's office, but I would caution you and remind you that this information is extremely preliminary.
Any other trauma to the body?
One at a time.
Overall, what do you make of the situation? Family members tell us they believe this person planned this. They did this. I'm guessing you've never dealt with anything like this before.
Several questions there. I follow the evidence, all right? And the evidence is that Jesse McFadden murdered 6 people and then killed himself. Beyond that, I don't know what his thought process was. Whether he planned this, and if he did, how long, I don't have any evidence to base an opinion one way or the other on that.
Was anyone tied up?
No.
Is there any other apparent trauma to the bodies other than these gunshot wounds?
None that I observed, but again, it's really early and I haven't gotten anything from the medical examiner.
There was a text message sent to Ivy's parents Sunday night that was odd, they said. Do we believe that was sent by Jesse?
I'm not sure I know what text message you're talking about, so I can't comment intelligently.
Were there any signs of a fight?
I didn't observe any, no.
Wow.
What's your theory of motive?
I don't think I want to speculate. I'm not gonna express a theory because again, I follow the evidence and I don't have any evidence to indicate what the actual motive was. And I'm going to be honest with you folks. Normal people that understand care, love, compassion wouldn't understand if I could come up with it anyway.
Chief, what kind of impact does this have on law enforcement? I mean, this is now 2 weirdly similar cases that you've had to deal with in just the last 6 months.
Law enforcement is pretty resilient, and we know what we signed up for, and we play the hand that's dealt us. So when we get a call, we go. And with regard to how anyone is responding to it since the event, I don't have any indication that anybody's having any difficulties. We are conducting the follow-up investigation, which is doing some cleanup interviews and documenting everything that we discovered, just like we do in any other case.
Have you heard from other parents, other teenagers, certainly that more teenagers were invited?
I don't have any information along those lines. That's first I've heard of it.
Do we think he planned this?
I don't know.
Do we know if they were doing anything when the killings happened, an activity of some sort outside?
Wasn't anything obvious.
Do you think he acted alone?
Don't have any evidence to indicate that there was anybody else involved.
Other than McFadden's eviction and his pending child porn charges, did he have any more recent run-ins with law enforcement that would act as warning signs?
Not that I'm aware of. But absent his lengthy prison sentence and his Muskogee County case.
How long did you know the person? I'm assuming was he on the sex offender registry? Is this someone you guys?
Are we talking about Jesse McFadden? I personally did not know him. My understanding is he was a registered sex offender and was up to date on his registration.
So you guys had no prior calls to this house before this incident?
I'm just going to pause there for a second. We're going to finish watching this because it's interesting. But like I said, last night, LFT was able to find him on the Oklahoma registry. So I guess the state registry. I don't think there's any local registries. And I think that's one of the things that Ivy's dad is pushing towards. And let me show you guys something really quick. So first, okay, this is the property, okay? This is where you pull in. This is the home. And if you're looking from above, and this was not last night, but a couple of nights ago when I went on Deciphers to talk about this, they pulled up the Google Maps and showed. So I'm not going to pull that up because I want you guys to see that. But they explained the bodies were found way back here, you guys, way back here next to the road. There's an interstate that runs in behind the house, and they were right over near that. Then let me show you guys something else. Here's the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation Mobile Analysis Center. These were the vehicles that came after the family was in there getting that video of all the cell phones and all the things left in the house. These are the vehicles that showed up and were searching. There was a search taking place, I believe, in the pond. There were reports of excavators out there and these vehicles. So, okay.
My agency would not have had any. The task force doesn't, as a matter of business, take calls for service. I would defer to the sheriff with that, and I would say that I am unaware of any others.
Chief, you said all the victims suffered gunshot wounds to the head. Did they come from the back or the front?
Some were to the side of the head, some were in the back of the head. There were injuries in the front of the head. So I would defer to the medical examiner for a firm answer on that. The short answer is I don't know.
That's quite interesting, huh? Let me go back just a few seconds. Let's hear that again.
The head, did they come from the back or the front?
Some were to the side of the head, some were in the back of the head. There were injuries in the front of the head. So I would defer to the medical examiner for a firm answer on that. The short answer is I don't know.
Okay, we are going to keep listening, but let me answer a couple comments. Hey, Nana Sue, did they find more bodies? There were reports that they did when they were searching the pond and stuff like that. There were reports, a medical examiner was out there, and even by the local news. However, we have not heard anything else since then. So there's not been any press conferences, there's not been any updates, so I don't know. I guess he means like that. I'm not sure. Yeah, that was interesting. And hey, Extra AF. Hey, Little Bits. Hey, Lisa Lee. Hey, Shift Happens. Let's see. Hey, Annabelle. You would think he would know the SOs in a small community. Oh, thank you, Pizza Chemist. Thank you. Very sweet. Thank you. I saw it for a second, but I wasn't still responding. I definitely don't want to miss saying thank you. I so appreciate that. Hey, Chica. He shouldn't have told that. Okay, let's keep listening.
For sure. I know you're unsure of when exactly.
All the victims suffered gunshot wounds to the head. Did they come from the back or the front?
Some were to the side of the head, some were in the back of the head. There were injuries in the front of the head. So I would defer to the medical examiner for a firm answer on that. The short answer is I don't know for sure.
I know you're unsure of when exactly it happened. Is there any reason to believe that he did this and then waited a while and then killed himself later on?
Again, I follow the evidence. I don't have any evidence to indicate that. Anything is possible.
Do you have any time? How long do you think they were at that residence? Were they there gone all weekend to show up that Monday? Do you have any idea how long they were at?
My understanding is the girls were friends with Tiffany, who lived at the residence, and were allowed to go and spend the night with her on Saturday, and were supposed to come home Sunday. And when they didn't, they were reported missing. Beyond that, I don't have any information.
What were the ages of all the victims?
That's an excellent point. Front row Joe. I've never heard of cops leaving drugs behind, yet they did in this case. I mean, in Texas, if they come for a noise complaint and see pot on the coffee table, they're going to confiscate it. I was thinking that about West Virginia. If there's a big drug bust, let's say it happened outside, right? Because a lot of people, with meth or different things like that, let's just say there was a big bust that happened in the driveway of a home where people were dealing. I'm telling you right now, and I've seen it happen in other cases, they have made everyone leave the house, like, because there's a house on my road that got busted for meth, and no one was allowed to live in it again, but people weren't allowed in the house at all for like 30 or 60 days at all, anybody. And that's just drugs, much less murder. And I don't care if it happened inside or outside. It's very interesting the way things kind of shook out here. Yeah, I don't know. The cops leaving behind the knee. I don't know. That's a great point. It was seemingly skipped over by about everyone, even the panel that was playing it. I've never seen cops leave behind any of the evidence that was left behind. I don't know, Penny, for your thoughts. It's interesting. He shouldn't even be giving the details of what happened. Okay. Can't believe they didn't tape off that house as a crime scene. 2 crime scenes. I'm not, I don't. I definitely understand there's protocol. Things have to be done by the book, chain of command, things like that. But, Deets on the Street left a comment that said under my thing that she put where she heard it in one of these press conferences about, I'd have to go back and get it because I don't want to repeat it wrong, but that it was said that they did have multiple warrants for the house at the same time as the property, I think, but I don't know. That's the thing. There's a lot of misinformation going around. But even like when you think about Brian Laundrie, he killed himself. But they didn't stop their investigation. They still kept looking till they figured out what happened in between him and Gabby and things like that. And also because they thought about charging his family for a bit. It was actually, thrown around and talked about with their attorneys and everything. His parents might get charged, that there might be other people involved. So I don't know. But okay, let's keep listening.
Bear with me. I knew there was a document I needed to bring with me. Tiffany was 13, Michael was 15, Riley was 17, Ivy was 14, Brittany was 16. Holly was 35, and Jesse McFadden was 39.
And just to confirm, the 3, Riley, Tiffany, and Michael were all Holly's kids, not Jesse's.
That is my understanding, yes.
So these were his stepkids?
Yes.
Did he make any recordings on his phone of his deeds or try to post anything to social media that you can determine?
We recovered one phone from the residence that we believe is Holly's. We recovered pieces of a phone from a wooded area quite a ways from the residence. We do not know who it belonged to. If that's not his phone,
They recovered one phone from the residence, just not the others.
We haven't located his phone.
Any other significant pieces of evidence other than those phones, the guns, and of course, the bodies?
We took some other evidence, but nothing I'm willing to comment on.
Is there any indicator that any of the victims were drugged or anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
With the 4 family members being found together, did they appear to be sleeping?
Hey, Anna, welcome.
Without going into a lot of detail, that scene appeared to be staged.
Yes, Penny. They took Holly's phone from the residence, but left one of the victims' phones. That's true.
That is my opinion based on what I observed.
But wait, let me rewind it because this is an important part, you guys. I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk over it, but I want us to really hear this.
Did they appear to be sleeping?
Without going into a lot of detail, that scene appeared to be staged to me. And that is my opinion based on what I observed.
Staged as in the bodies?
I don't want to go into details. I think the bodies had been moved from where they were originally killed.
Were they all found outside?
Yes.
Okay.
But they weren't killed at the same time? I mean, some were killed at one occasion, and then just given the distance you're talking about, and then you traveled somewhere else?
Well, there's no way we can know with certainty, but logic tells me that some were killed in an area 400 to 450 yards away from others. So yeah, there would have been some space of time there. Yes, sir.
Yes. Are you certain about McFadden's sex offender registry status? We attempted to look him up and we didn't find him there.
I accidentally just pulled that off, but this is an important part, so hold tight. 1 second. Still there. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, wait, no. Microsoft tab. Listen to what he says here. Hold up.
400 to 450 yards away from others. So yeah, there would have been some space of time there. Yes, sir.
Yes. Are you certain about McFadden's sex offender registry status? We attempted to look him up and didn't find him there.
I am certain of what I've been told. I have not checked it myself.
Are you certain of
He had not.
His age? I was told by her father that she was 15.
No, I am not certain. That information was provided to me early on. I made a note of it, and I am not 100% certain.
I spoke with
Carla, hey, I'm listening while working, but had to say, this leaves so many questions unanswered. Absolutely not. Ain't no way they would leave this open like this in Florida. Ask Sheriff Grady Judd. I love Grady Judd. He is everything. Man, if he could be all of our sheriffs. God, I love him. His press conferences, I don't even know it. Even if I haven't followed the case, I'll watch just to watch him because he's so... Yeah, he's just awesome. He really is. And, you know, they did, like I said, in Brian Laundrie's case, they continued to investigate for a few reasons. I think to know exactly what happened, but also because they considered charging his parents for some time, you know, and he had passed away. But this is not a new press conference. This is from the chief of police of the local police before OSBI took it over. Okay. I love Grady Judd too. He puts the hammer down. Yes, he does. He's great. Okay.
the former victim of his was set to testify against him and the trial he was supposed to be on Monday. And he sent her text messages or Facebook messages the night previous. Have you spoken with her? Do you know anything about those messages?
We've received copies of those text messages. He did make contact with her, and I don't think it was a text message. I think it was a Facebook Messenger message, and tried to lay blame for his situation on her.
So do you believe that the killings happened prior or after those messages?
I don't have any way to know that.
You're the district attorney, correct? And this person was supposed to have a jury trial Monday?
That was in Muskogee County, correct?
Is that your jurisdiction?
No, I'm a Bogey in McIntosh.
So the text messages were blaming the victim for what he had done to these 16.
No. My interpretation of the text.
I'm glad that you say that because I'm watching and listening, but I'm also listening or talking to you guys in the chat, so I'll miss things. They got a search warrant for both the residence and the property. He took the phone from the house. He just said Holly's phone, so I don't know. He definitely was not planning on going to court at all. Hey, Carol Claus. Lisa, he did have family. So his mom worked at the courthouse in Pittsburgh County, well, where his original, I think it's Pittsburgh County. I pulled it up last night. We went through Jennifer Coffindaffer. If you go through her Twitter, she's been very vocal about the mom and stuff like that. Then also we know that his brother also has been in trouble for horrifically abusing someone, locking them in a cage, hitting them with an axe, just awful things. So yeah, they I don't know. Yeah, I think there's been 2 Nora's grandma. Let's see. But I can't find
The Facebook Messenger messages that I read was he was blaming her for his situation with the criminal case in Muskogee County.
Why is Okmulgee police on this instead of Henryetta?
Well, first of all, the scene was outside of the city limits of either Henryetta or Okmulgee and would fall under the jurisdiction of the sheriff's office. Okmulgee police is involved because we are part of, and I in fact command, the District 25 Violent Crime Task Force, which conducts violent crime investigations in both Okmulgee and McIntosh County.
Again, with the timeline, I'm sorry, I know you don't have a lot of details, but can you give us an idea of how far apart these killings could be, or if they all happened at once?
I don't have any way to base any speculation on to give you a realistic timeline other than the distance between where the bodies were discovered. It could have happened in quick succession, or there could have been a significant amount of time between them. There's just absolutely no way for us to know.
I know you mentioned it already, but I'm just trying to get clarification. Can you explain again where the bodies were found and how close they were? It kind of sounds like maybe 3 were found close together and then the other 4 were found like 2 different groups.
Yes, that's correct. From the McFadden residence, which is probably 100 yards off the road, approximately a quarter mile south and east of the residence, there is a creek. And the creek is within a tree line, but just barely. Ivy was found on the west side of that creek, approximately 100 to 150 yards away. Brittany was found approximately another 100 to 150 yards away. Riley was found.
Wait a minute now, hold up. We're going to rewind here because this is a little different than the way that I had interpreted it.
But I'm just trying to get clarification. Can you explain again where the bodies were found and how close they were? It kind of sounds like maybe 3 were found close together and then the other 4 were found like 2 different groups.
Oh, so okay.
Yes, that's correct.
3 were found close together, but the other 4 were in 2 different groups. I knew they were separated, but I didn't catch the 2 different groups part.
From the McFadden residence, which is probably 100 yards off the road, approximately a quarter mile south and east of the residence, there is a creek. And the creek is within a tree line, but just barely. Ivy was found on the west side of that creek, approximately 100 to 150 yards away. Brittany was found approximately another 100 to 150 yards away. Riley was found, and they were both on the east side of the creek. Then the other 4 decedents were all found together approximately another quarter mile more east than south, but southeast of where the 3 girls were found. Wooded area.
So they were found further away.
Yes, yes.
Chief, what kind of impact does a tragedy like this have on the community?
Well, part of the problem that the community suffers with something like this is everybody wants to understand why. And like I said before, normal people can't understand why. People that perpetrate crimes like this are evil. And normal.
It's a really hard to make sense of this, you guys, because, you know, not only the news is given flat out misinformation. We've heard the news say that some were found in the house. We've heard the news say that it was Holly's handwriting. We've heard the news say this, say that. And that's just, we know those things are not accurate. So not only do we have that, You also have the element of like YouTube or TikTok or people repeating the news because a lot of people assume the news is accurate, right? Then you have the families who are kind of saying different things. We have Ivy's dad who's claiming some of these things aren't necessarily true. Then we have Lynn who's claiming, no, wait a minute, I know what I found, and I've spent many hours with the police, because that's one of the things she said in our chat last night. That was in our chat. We did a dual stream though, so it went into Deciphers. You'll have to go in there to, I pulled a lot up on the screen too, but to see all the comments. And she said, look, I've spent 8 hours with them. A lot of the other family members have only spent a few minutes. Trust me, I know what's going on. But regardless, you're hearing different stories here and here. And then you got the news, and it's really tough to make sense of it all. Let me see what you guys have to say. They were trying to run, and he picked the 3 off and killed the others. I think he took 1 at a time, had the others locked up, moved them all together, and then killed himself. He said staged. That it appeared they had been staged. That makes sense, Susanna. I mean, I don't know. The thing is the head injuries too. Some were in the side, some were in the back, some had injuries to the front of the head. I mean, Lord have mercy. Where Holly, Michael, and Tiffany were. I'm going to see if Woofy will help me make a map of exactly what he's saying, because I'm really bad with that stuff. But I'm going to try to like make a visual to describe what he is explaining right here. Anyone else here local to the house? Thinking of driving there to see if the landlord is emptying the house? You should. And oh my God, you should. You should. Anyone who thinks Holly had no hand in this must believe the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. Ty, I don't know. I definitely see why people are suspicious. I've just tried to wait and see. The misinformation is so rampant. We know that a lot of these things were just bought that weekend based on receipts found at the home. We know that a lot of people had been in and out of the home who hadn't reported stuff like this before. But as Kate said over here last night, there are also rumors that the school involved CPS, that the oldest child had made claims of abuse and stuff like that. So I'll send it to you, Crime Sleuthin. Just, be careful, but I will. I'm suspicious. I just know how confusing this all is at first. It is, Ava. I agree. I'm suspicious too, but I'm not here. Oh, thank you. That will be so cool to see. I'm not here to, I just want to wait and see. Somehow they may have escaped and possibly ran away. Was their SA? Okay, Mandy Joe, here's the thing about that. Dad says on that video, we hear him say, yes, my daughter was raped and murdered. But, I don't think that we've had a confirmation, because when I've searched, and this was like a day or 2 ago, the medical examiner said they are definitely testing, they're definitely going to find out, and they are doing examinations to see, but I don't think if anything's been released publicly. It's not a dumb question at all. Now, I don't know what the family's been told, right? Because they may be privy to a little more information. Maybe he assumed that based on the scene that he walked into that day. Somehow they might have escaped and possibly running away. Michael Vance in 2016. Ooh, interesting, the dude. Hey, Lazarus. Easter Bunny isn't real. I know, Glenjamin. McFadden's brother kept a girl in a cage and tortured her. Yes, that is true. We went through on one of the lives I've done on it, we went through like the information of that. He even hit her with an axe. And God, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he pour something on her? Like some kind of chemicals? Oh, Crime Sleuthin', I can't wait to see. Yes, I'll message you. Okay.
Normal folks like us can't understand why they do. So I think that besides the emotional trauma that people suffer because of the realization of what happened to these young kids, trying to figure out why is a challenge they'll never get past.
Was there anybody at the scene before all this happened that you've been able to determine who wasn't killed, or everybody who was there?
I have no evidence that anyone was at the scene leading up to the murders that was not killed.
Do you have any information? Was his residence recently searched, probation, parole, was he in compliance, et cetera?
I don't have any information at all along those lines.
Were the bodies found with clothing or the body was normal?
All bodies were closed.
I know I think this was asked, but I'm just gonna ask again, because, I mean, 6 people to shoot and kill. Do you think that the 3 girls maybe were trying to run away? Any indicator that anyone tried to run away? That just seems like so many people to try and do that to without someone getting away.
You're having the same difficulty that we have trying to figure out exactly what happened, because all we have is where the bodies were positioned and the injuries to them to try to indicate what happened, and there's just no way to know.
And do you think this?
Wait a minute, let me hear him say that again.
Is where
Getting away.
You're having the same difficulty that we have trying to figure out exactly what happened, because all we have is where the bodies were positioned and the injuries to them to try to indicate what happened, and there's just
No, you don't. That's not all you have, buddy. Guess what? You had cell phones. You had a lot of other evidence you probably could have looked at to help tell the story of what happened there, right? The restraints, the computers, the cameras, the receipts, the drugs. I think that would probably tell the story a little bit. If you wanted to know, I would certainly recommend looking there.
no way to know.
Jesus.
And do you think that this was planned or spontaneous?
Oh,
No way to know
Mystic.
that.
And what is the district attorney's role in this? Now that,
This is my task force.
okay.
It's been reported Jesse McFadden was going to go to my
Yeah.
house there. Do you have any, before this happened, do you have any indication that actually happened or he was not seen or any evidence about that?
Based on information that we have available to us currently, we don't
Lady
think they ever
B.
went.
How did you all figure out that they didn't ever do it?
I'm sorry. I cannot with the fact of all that shit being left behind. And then for law enforcement to literally tell Lynn to take the restraints that were taped on the back of the dresser and throw them in the dumpster if you don't want them. Like, what? I just cannot. I mean, the family was literally talking about hiring a private investigator to look into all of this stuff to figure out what happened. Is that not crazy? I just woke up hanging with LFT in the side of too late. That's funny, Mystic. This ain't 1972. Oh my God, it's pretty frustrating. Okay.
The property.
We did find out, Mystic, since you should rewind, because we found out a few new things today. Number one, I was always under the impression, and I listened to him describe the wounds as the worst part. I was always under the impression that they each suffered 1 gunshot wound, except for Holly. That is not true. Tiffany and Michael both had 2 gunshot wounds to the head. Then we know that he did take something from the home. 1 cell phone, Holly's phone. And hold on. I was going to mention the warrants, but I don't really know the best way for me to describe that without like jumbling it up and making the confusion worse. So let me think on that one.
McAllister belongs to Jesse McFadden's family members, and we interviewed them, and they were cooperative and told us that they had never come down there. They hadn't come down there that weekend.
Are there any security or gaming cameras on the property that possibly captured anything?
Not that I've been made aware of.
Do we know when he dropped the car to his neighbor? I mean, what was the last sighting of him?
I believe he was sighted in Henryetta proper Saturday night. When I can't tell you when he dropped the car or why. Anything I tell you, be a guess.
Kate talks a little bit about where they were sighted and some of the rumors on our thing from last night as well, you guys. You definitely don't want to miss that. And Lady V, I like your new picture. It's really pretty. Were the two friends missing? Yes, that's what I first remember seeing was Ivy and Brittany being missing. Oh, we love you, H-Town's finest. I cannot believe you're going to go there, Crime Sleuth, and I am really excited. Yeah, a warrant for the property and the house. They had a warrant for both. Throw them away in the dumpster. Yeah, what would that accomplish? And throw them in the dumpster. Worst quotes from Ellie so far. Oh, my Lord have mercy. Whoa, that bird was so close. And it was really cute. It had a really long beak. A weird tropical looking bird. Okay, sorry, you guys. Let's listen to the last minute or two of this because we've learned a lot of shit in this. Also, where they were found. They were separated, but the girls were Ivy, Brittany, and Riley were all 150 yards from each other. That's the way that I took the way he said that. What did you guys take from that?
All right, folks. I really appreciate your time. Thank you. And
thank you,
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Sorry. Typically when there's homicides, someone goes on trial. If someone is now deceased, what's next in this investigation to figure out what happened to bring families closure? What's next?
we have been in contact with the families and have shared information. In fact, we met with the families today prior to this press conference to give them the information that we gave you all, so they would hear it from us and not from the news media. Again, there are questions that will never get answered because the only people that know are no longer here. We will continue to document everything that we have found and anything that we discover in follow-up interviews moving forward and generate a report. We will submit that report to the district attorney's office for her review as a formality because there is no prosecution to be had here.
Can you describe the reaction of the families when this information was?
Today, I was not present, so I'm not sure. Yes, sir.
One last thing, just for the purposes of our understanding, do you think you might be able to help us out and present some type of map of the crime scene and help us better explain for people how spread out the crime scene was?
Currently, I don't have one for you. At some point in the future, crime scene investigators will map it. I have no idea how long that will take.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
At this point, has the case been ruled as a murder suicide?
We don't ever just rule a case, to use your term, but we don't have any evidence to believe that it's anything other than murder and a suicide.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, buddy, whatever. Okay, before we end, I want to show y'all this because I've only seen about 3 minutes of this on Twitter. But Jennifer Coffindaffer went on to this YouTube channel, and I'm going to drop the whole the channel in the thing. It's called The Pascal Show. And
laptops, computers.
She has done an interview about this. Now, Jennifer Coffindaffer is retired FBI. Not everything that she always says do I agree with. However, everything she always says comes from a very educated opinion. So it's really interesting. So I think we should listen to a few minutes of this. She's not on for long because I was looking through for this. She's on for about 20 minutes, if that. So let's listen to this together and see what we can get. Oh, you guys know him already. I just found him. That's really cool. He does good work. Awesome. Okay, let me see. There was a comment I definitely wanted to grab because it was really sweet. Here it is, Pepper. Allie, I admire your hard work to get this story right. Nothing wrong with speculation. As long as we remember these are opinions. Fantastic job. Thank you, Pepper. That is so sweet. We are awake. So it's been proven McFadden picked up the girls, or is that hearsay? That's what I heard from the parents in an interview. I don't remember where though, because there's quite a lot of them with, but yeah. So the guy's dead, and they keep saying the only people that know are past. Like, they don't want the truth to come out. I don't trust that local Ellie at all. Oh, thank you, Natasha. Okay. I'm going to grab the link and drop it in
Things
the
that could
chat.
contain some, a snowball, gets bigger and bigger and more complex. What are your thoughts on everything here?
Well, Pascal, first, I have to say, with everything that happened there in terms of what law enforcement did not do, is really just embarrassing to be a former law enforcement officer and really watch the complete lack of doing an investigation. This house and that entire property should have been sealed off. No one should have been allowed in and out.
Retired FBI. So that's interesting. I love her, though. She gets feisty, and she does care. She cares very much about the victims, which is important, because I don't know. I want to hear my story from somebody who cares. That's what I was telling Tia last night when she was apologizing for being, for being invested emotionally. We were just kind of, or something. It was something along the lines of that. And I appreciate that. And I'm sorry, but I would rather hear the story from someone who does care, not from someone who's just reporting on it because they know it's a trending topic or something interesting, for something to report on. There's a lot of shit that's trending and interesting you can talk out that you can talk about that other people want to talk about that doesn't involve victims. But once you start talking, to me, it's just, I don't know. It's a whole nother level when you got real people's real lives. These are not actresses and actors. They are real people. These people are going through the worst moment in their lives, the family members and stuff. So it's always important to remember that.
It should have been processed for blood spatter. It should have been processed for DNA throughout that house. Should have been processed and items collected in terms of evidence, cell phones, towers of computers, notes, any written evidence, books. Might have seen on the shelf, I think there was a witchcraft book. What passages might have been circled? What part might that play? This was a situation, Pascal, of law enforcement completely dropping the ball. And I'm a big supporter of law enforcement, but I can never and will never support ineptness of any magnitude. But this takes the cake.
Absolutely. I'm still having a hard time wrapping my mind around everything that has come out. I mean, we're talking about cell phones. We're talking about items of clothing, things that were found under floorboards. I mean, it just, the list just keeps going and getting crazier and crazier and crazier. VHS tapes of potentially containing unthinkable images, 4-inch stacks of Polaroids and just regular pictures of children. And then, of course, just the cell phones that were found.
And let me say, that's one of the things that have been kind of disputed between the families, the pictures and stuff. We won't really go, get into that right now. Just because of that, it's been poor. I don't want to make it worse.
These floorboards that 5 of them were previously owned by Holly, but after that, there's 3 other ones, and one could have been owned by a child, from my understanding. I mean, all of this stuff was left behind. Not to mention the syringes, the gels, if you get what I'm saying, the toys, etc., that were just strewn, laid out there in plain sight with chains and padlocks right next to beds. And police just walked right by this and just thought, well, this is a done deal. I mean, he's gone, so who cares? Case closed. I'm still just trying to fully wrap my mind around this, because it just seems mind-blowing that they're not seeing this and saying, maybe there's a ring, maybe there's something deeper here going on. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Pascal, if you look at this is an interesting situation where we have the chief of police really addressing his mindset, and that is passed on down to his officers and detectives. And what he said in that press conference was, you all are such nice people. You really don't even need to know. So there's no reason for us to know motive or what further happened. I'm paraphrasing now, but that was the message. And then to see the investigator, be confronted by one of the victim's fathers and turn and say, what does this really matter? None of it really matters. The guy's dead. This gives you the clear insight as to lack of training, lack of understanding of criminal cases, just complete incompetence of this force. And I can only hope that other cases are looked at that have been treated the same. I mean, we're just talking about this case. For how many years and how long have other cases occurred there?
Wow.
Involving child pornography.
Wow, what a great point. I had not even thought about that.
Involving child exploitation, involving possibly even murder, like this one, that have gone not investigated. That's very concerning.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you said what you said there, because there was a clip that I wanted to show you that I'm sure you've been talking about this, or at least have addressed this on News Nation. And I really do appreciate the amazing work that you've been
Mandy, YouTube sleuths would either solve it in 2 days or completely screw it up, and we'd be just way worse off. One of the two, and definitely nothing in between.
doing over there. And I'm sure you're having a lot of really great times over there as well. But I wanted to get your personal opinion on this clip right here. Let's take a listen, everybody.
Been done before.
I want more done.
The problem is we don't know what else to do. Like,
there's a story to be told here.
Right.
We don't know what happened.
Don't know what
else to do. I'm going to say
this. Since we don't have the only person that can tell us what happened,
is dead. But we can try to piece it together.
And I'm going to
say this was not done right. No crime scene tape.
We are open to any suggestions you all
I'm saying this. They didn't do their job, and the whole world's going to know it.
What would this accomplish?
I'm a grieving parent that my daughter got raped and murdered, and you're telling me right now that I don't have a right to know what happened? The story's right here.
So I do want to pull this up, because this to me is absolutely mind-blowing. That you have law enforcement that they called in to take photos of these things that they left behind, and they are literally making excuses, trying to justify why they didn't pick up those things, dust them for prints, send them to for DNA, so on and so forth. They just said, hey, the deal is done. The only person that has any of the information, he gone. He dead. So who cares? What's on this?
He gone.
Pascal, that's just the worst attitude to have, because in a case like this, specifically, we know he was involved in child pornography. He was under charges for that. He was set to go to court for that. And people who deal with child pornography work in rings. They work with.
She actually went into this on News Nation a little bit, and you do hear that they do work together. I don't know why, they just do. Oftentimes they're in underground worlds behind the scenes together with lots of people like them.
Each other. They distribute all of this child porn. They have specific people. I mean, who knows what photographs were taken in his home and distributed? We know now there were 32 hits of locations from different devices that were at that house. Were those victims? Were those perpetrators? We don't know. And I guarantee this is the tip of the iceberg, Pascal, because none of those devices, computers have been forensically analyzed. This all, in my opinion, should go to the FBI. That is what they do. They're amazing at conducting these types of forensics, and child pornography is their bailiwick. They have extremely stiff penalties, federal penalties for these types of crimes. I think, at least from the digital standpoint, FBI hopefully will be called in to assist.
Absolutely. I mean, if you have, and of course, that's the other piece, the 32 phones that were.
I wish so as well. And I know that I've heard rumors of that, but I don't know for certain anything besides the OSBI has taken over. Shell hey Alex, was the girlfriend or wife aware of his history? If the children or partner were staged, how do they know the man was okay? So she was aware of his history. we're you know, her mom says that there was an actress who, or you know, it's been said there was an actress who lied to her about it, that he paid. I have a lot of questions about that, so I'm going to leave it there for now. I don't know the truth. I don't know exactly. You know, I know that she was writing him in jail, and his roommate as well. So this may be a dumb question, but could a video be retrieved if one was shared on the dark web? Space Cake, I don't know. I would think so, but I really don't know. I don't know anything about the dark web. All right, I'm going to play just a second longer, and I'm going to let you guys go, but I'm about to drop a link in the chat. This is an article. Now, you have to pay $1. You might get a couple free reads. I don't know, because I know I had to pay for it, but I feel like I had been on this site before and got a few free reads first. But if you can't get it for free, I read through the entire thing in a quick 10-minute. It shows up under the live column on my channel. But it was a pre-recorded video. It was just broadcast through StreamYard, so that's why it's like a 10-minute thing, and it goes through a lot of the stuff about what happened with him in jail before, and all of that stuff. It is very interesting. You definitely don't want to miss that. Okay.
Basically registered to this address. 32 individual cell phones have been registered at the McFadden's property. Wouldn't you think, if you were boots on the ground, looking at the horrific scene of 7 bodies, seeing that there's all this stuff strewn throughout the house that show that that was some serious, unthinkable things that happened to these children, if not to the entire family? Wouldn't you think that maybe there was going on here, especially after you seeing all this evidence of VHS tapes, Polaroids, etc.? This would scream that maybe this guy was making content to sell on the dark web, to put out there for his own financial gain and for his own pleasure. The fact that they're not even doing that, the fact that they completely turned a blind eye to this whole thing, screams to me, at least in my opinion, that there's some sort of cover-up going on here. And I know that may sound like crazy conspiracy theorist, but we have all this stuff out there, and you don't look at it at all. It's something sinister's going on here.
Well, I think one of the things we need to keep in mind is so often incompetence mirrors cover-up. In other words, it's really hard to tell, is there somebody politically or in law enforcement that could be exposed by them uncovering this? But that is not what I gleaned in this situation. What I gleaned, Pascal, was complete and utter incompetence. He says why he doesn't want to collect it. Well, what's it gonna show? I mean, his attitude shows me he is probably graduated from high school, signed up to be a law enforcement officer, got a little bit of training at the academy, goes back once a year and shoots his 50 rounds to qualify, gets very little to no training beyond that, and just kind of wings it. And that is what you see oftentimes with these small departments, and they need to do better. Money needs to be appropriated for training so that this doesn't happen.
My computer is about to die, and I have to go get Trenton from school. Bentley has a play tonight. He's in the Noah's Ark play. I am trying to drop that link. I don't know if that worked. It's because it looks funny. Because it says /streams. So let me grab it again. Copy link. Then I'm going to come in the chat and drop it of this short video I did yesterday, because you do have to pay. Bree said she just checked, and she does have to be a subscriber. It's only $1, but if you guys don't want to pay, here is the link, because I read through it, and there is a ton of interesting stuff in there. I just dropped it underneath Anna Morris's comment in the chat. Okay, you guys, thank you for being here. Please join me tonight on Jen Lou's channel to finish talking about Lori Vallow. They are doing, their closing arguments today, and the verdict's going to be streamed. Jen's going to stream it. I can't wait to watch with you guys. I can't wait to talk about it. We're going to dig into that case over here as well. Oh, thank you, Crazy Mama. Thank all you guys. Thank you, Roxanne, so much. I really appreciate you. I appreciate all you guys. I hope you guys have a really good day. Just remember, God Almighty, this case is already a mess of muddy water. And so just, But I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to go watch the lives last night, and then the other live that we did that I have shared with you guys, where Tia shows I want you guys to see like the overhead view, but I'm going to try to get Woofy to help me make a little like map of that, because I'm really bad with directions. But anyways, there will be more stuff coming soon, and I'll talk to you guys soon. I love and appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you soon. Bye.